This episode of KSTV is brought to you by Gem Creative, custom designs, printing, web designs, SEO, and more.
Hey, we're back. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
That's Peter.
And that's Kevin.
And this is the
Kev and the Rev Show.
That's us. We're here for your viewing and listening enjoyment only. We're just two nice guys having a good time.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. We were talking off camera about music. And I remember how the music's changed over the years. I'm from the 60s, 70s era, where music was simple. It was a good, makes you feel good, have a good time, you know. Nowadays, I'm not really sure about the music.
I think that depends which music are we talking about.
Well, I'm a fan of all kinds of music, actually. I do like opera, believe it or not. I do like some country music, but I'm not sure of some of the how can I put this delicately?
Don't put it delicately.
Okay. I'm just not a metal fan of the heavy metal. I do like some of it, yes.
You are missing out. You are missing out. I was 15, maybe. No, I was 13 or so years old.
Okay.
And I heard Iron Maiden, Saxon, German, so the British bands, German, Saxon,
right.
Running Wild, Accept, and I became a metalhead and stayed one to this day.
Wow.
My tastes changed, experimented with this and that, but...
See, I never would have thought that about you.
There's a lot you don't know about me.
And that's maybe a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't
You know, with metal, there is study done that says metal fans are the most loyal, dedicated partners in relationships.
Really?
Because when you look at a history of heavy metal, and actually Canadian sociologist and a headbanger or metal banger,
Yep.
forgot his first name, but his last name is Dunn, D-U-N-N.
Okay.
He produced two movies, Heavy Metal, The Headbanger's Journey,
Okay.
and then Part 2. And he explores the history, origin of heavy metal. And when he ventures into certain countries, like in an Eastern Bloc, when we still had the Iron Curtain,
Yes.
heavy metal was music frowned upon by the authorities.
Yes. I
And
believe
yet
that.
it was the music of sense of freedom, sense of camaraderie, sense of being able to express yourself. And what is interesting, my understanding, which I would like to think is significant, is that heavy metal is the most diverse music genre there is.
I never
I
would
mean,
have thought of it
punk
that
rock
way.
had a couple of branches, but punk rock has been and gone to my knowledge. There's a few bands that I'm aware of. Metal still branches out. I mean, you've got opera metal. You got
What?
opera power metal.
No. Really? I have to get out more. I have to get out
Oh,
more.
don't you need to get out? Just open YouTube and ask me for suggestions.
Okay, I could try that too. I never would have thought of that.
So here's the name, Nightwish. Folks, you too, try it. Nightwish. One word, night, like the
Wish.
thing that comes after the day.
Right.
And wish, like, you know, when you hope for things. Nightwish. Give it a try.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's something I'm going to have to just write in my little book, and I'll get to that.
And if metal gets to you and you feel like, yes, I want it, you know, in my life, remember one thing.
Okay.
We do this,
Yes.
not this.
And,
This is heavy metal.
right.
This is Spider-Man.
I think I'm going to web myself out of here. Are we done? We're done. See you next time.
Events sponsored by Royal Flush, the company for septic services.
It's that time of year again. The Corroborate Credit Union's annual Christmas food drive has kicked off, and until December 20th, they'll be collecting donations for the Corroborate Food Bank. Here's the fun part. Every item you donate gets your name entered into their daily draw for some fantastic prizes. Each Friday, they'll also draw one lucky winner for a weekly prize worth $650. So donate throughout the week, and your name is in the running. Remember, the food bank is looking for unopened, unexpired items. So why not spread some holiday cheer? Bring your donations and drop something off every day to boost your chances of winning daily prizes and maybe even that grand weekly prize. The Kindersley Museum is back for another year with their popular Museum of Lights. Held on dates throughout December beginning at 7 p.m. until 9, visitors are invited to drive through on Fridays and walk through on Saturdays. In addition to walking through, the horses will be back, providing sleigh rides on Saturdays. So bundle up and come on out and join us for some good old-fashioned holiday celebrations. Get your creative juices flowing. From now until December 13th, the Kerrobert Library is hosting an ugly Christmas sweater contest. Here's how it works. Stop by the library to pick up a sweater template and decorate it as wildly as you can. There are no rules, other than keeping your design appropriate for display. There is also no age limit, so everyone can join the fun. And don't forget to put your name on the back so the library can contact the winners. Templates are available on the table in front of the library if you visit outside of their open hours. And you can drop it off your completed design there too. Let your creativity shine, have fun, and maybe even win a prize. Hey, the Kev and the
Rev.
show is back. We're here. That's us. We're live. Well, we're not quite. We're live now, but when you're watching it, we may not be.
Welcome. How did you get here?
By truck. And I'll tell you what. This winter stuff, man, I don't know. This white stuff on the ground, the ice. I'm not a fan of driving in the winter, only because I know myself, but I don't know what somebody else is going to do.
So I'm not a fan of winter driving for the first 48, 72 hours of the first snowfall.
Okay.
When I lived in Calgary and in northern Alberta and in Ottawa, if at all possible, I would spend the first 72 hours at home because that is when the proverbial, meeting of the summer drivers takes place in all the snow-covered ditches and on the highways.
Yep.
But
And people haven't got their snow tires on yet, some of them.
And even if they do, your gut just still instinct to just step on those brakes. You just don't remember. When I lived in Calgary, I remember they used to say that for the first 48 hours of the first snowfall, there is more bumper dents, more accidents than for the previous 6 months combined.
I believe it. Oh yeah, you see, everybody forgets what to do.
No.
And as you may have noticed, I got my winter peg, man, it's cold hoodie on tonight, just in reference to winter today.
When winter comes, I occasionally get friends in Poland asking, so how cold is it? And occasionally I post,
Right.
minus 50 with a wind chill. How do you function? And I say, well, the same way as when it's minus 20, you just put extra 3 layers and look a little bit like a Michelin man.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the thing about winter. You just have to layer up and keep warm.
And you get used to it.
Yeah, and you know what? People don't realize life goes on even though it's cold out, though there's snow on the ground. The world still functions.
And I'm not a biggest fan of minus 50, but I will take that over plus 30 any day.
Okay, we're not going to get along anymore.
Look, it's practical. I mean, folks, Kevin,
What?
It's practical. You can always put on another sweater.
That's true.
In the summer, you can take off only so much before either you get arrested or propositioned.
True. That's very true. And I have not been either one, so I'm fine. I still prefer the plus 30s, though. Thank you.
No.
I don't have to shovel minus a plus 30.
Well, I am grateful for all the folks here in Kindersley who are offering to shovel the driveways for an affordable amount of money. Mm-hmm. And then either I'm lazy, or I literally have no time, or I don't feel well. I am grateful for people willing to do that.
And that's fair. And you know what? The world wouldn't be complete without our 4 seasons. And having winter as one of the seasons, yeah, it's a bit inconvenient at times, but it's still nice to have when you think on it. It's necessary because we need the moisture for the spring.
Yep.
So as much as we maybe don't like it, we need it. How's that sound?
Necessary evil?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I'm quite warm right now, and I want to stay that way. So we'll just chill out until the next time.
Stay warm.
Local news sponsored by Mid-Plains Diesel. The ground is white again, and winter is here. The town of Kindersley would like to remind all residents and businesses to please not push snow onto the street. And also, please don't pile snow on your neighbor's property without their permission. For those clearing large lots, seasonal snow piles are not permitted. Please take your snow to the designated dumping area provided by the town of Kindersley. Thank you for your cooperation in keeping our community safe and accessible this winter. And speaking of snow and cold temperatures, residents are reminded to take extra precautions in regard to household vents and pipes. Plummeting temperatures always bring unique challenges, one of which includes the risk of vent blockages leading to serious health hazards. Please remember to monitor furnace exhaust pipes for your ice accumulation. Low temperatures coupled with wind chill could cause these pipes to become clogged with ice, which poses a significant risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. Heavy snowfall could also block the pipe completely. Residents are advised to regularly check their carbon monoxide detectors to ensure they are functioning properly. It is recommended to have at least 2 detectors in a home, 1 on each floor. 'Tis that time of year when we start thinking about gifts, and the shopkindersley.ca gift card is perfect for this occasion. It's truly amazing that such a simple thing could mean so much to a small town, or the biggest small town in the West Central region. These gift cards are available to purchase from the Kindersley Chamber of Commerce office, Merlin Electronics, and Speedy Glass in denominations of $10, $25, and $50, and can be used at over 50 Kindersley locations. Besides the holiday season, they are also perfect for bonuses, birthdays, and any other kind of occasion you can think of. Did you know that Kindersley and District Co-op is paying out over $1.4 million to their members? Checks are available now at the Kindersley Food Store, the Etonia Food Store, and the Hoosier General Store for pickup. If you can't pick up your check that day, no problem. The Co-op will keep it for you at their administration office until December the 13th. After the 13th, they will be mailing the remaining checks out.
Hello, we're here. How are you? I'm Kevin.
And I'm Peter.
And we are the Kevin the
Rev.
Show. That's it. That's us. We're here. And we're good.
And we're good.
And we're good. And I'm going to ask you something. Christmassy. I'm going to ask you something Christmassy. Is Christmas very different here in Canada than it was for you back home?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. I'm listening with bated breath.
So, for me, of course, first and foremost, it's the food.
Of course.
So in Poland and several other countries in Eastern Europe, but in Poland, the main meal of Christmas is Christmas Eve supper.
Ah, okay.
Traditional 12 meatless dishes.
Really?
And they are to die for.
Well.
Although sometimes when I describe them, people say, do you die for or from them? But
a good point.
But it's food. And then in different parts of Poland, there would be different dishes and different traditions.
Oh.
And then when you venture into Europe, some of it is Christmas Eve, some of it is Christmas Day.
Right.
So it all varies. Traditional dishes. Yeah.
Well, what would be considered a traditional dish?
Fried fish. Traditionally, carp fish.
Oh, okay.
Now, in Poland, in, 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s, I lived through this beautiful tradition when the government would make fish available to the people, and you would buy that fish from the big vats, and they were still floating, and you would buy it 3 to 5 days before Christmas, and you would bring it home in a bucket or a bag, 1 or 2, sometimes 3, depending how large the family was, and then those 2-3 carp, would be floating in a bathtub.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Different.
And then, children would sit, because if there was nothing on telly, you could sit in front of the bathtub and watch the fish swim.
Oh.
And then, somebody in the family had to dispatch.
Of course. That's very politically put. Well,
Yes.
Okay.
And, so that was a really interesting tradition. Something funny that I discovered when I came to Canada is, so in Canada, Santa comes at Christmas.
Yes.
In Poland,
Right.
Santa comes on December the 6th and brings you little presents and leaves them at the foot of your bed. So when you wake up on December the 6th, Santa has been and you've got gifts. For Christmas,
Okay.
little angel brings presents and leaves under a Christmas tree. And what's interesting, in Poland, as you move from south towards north, like I'm from the south, so it was a little angel.
Okay.
And vocabulary slightly changes
Okay.
as you move.
Well, now that is different.
Yeah.
Wow. And here, most everybody seems, well, people get together, of course, Christmas Eve. And some do open their presents Christmas Eve, and some open them Christmas morning. And of course, traditionally in North America, it's turkey and stuffing and cranberries and potatoes, mashed potatoes and vegetables. And obviously that's not the same all over Europe. This is kind of different. I kind of like that.
And I remember in the 70s and early 80s when we had no choice but to be on friendly terms with our Eastern Russian brothers and sisters. I remember we would go to a cinema, watch a good Russian movie, followed by presents distributed by Ded Moroz, which is Russian for Grandpa Frost.
Oh.
Because, of course,
Wow.
Russia being, kind of not too keen on religious expressions, he was dressed similar to Santa, except more white. Or bluish, but sometimes looked similar, but it was Grandpa Frost.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
It was different, yeah.
Wow, so your last Christmas that you remember was when? Over there.
The last Christmas in Poland would have been when I was a monk, and it would have been 1992. Because I came to Canada in 1993 in October, and that's when I had my first Canadian Christmas, and I have never seen blasted turkey before.
Wow. So does anything stand out for you in that last one when you were back home?
No, I have no memory.
No? Oh.
I have no memory. My biggest memories are from Christmas celebrations when I was 10, 11. We lived in communism. My father, having been a really good engineer and an inventor, did go under government supervision and permission, travel abroad. I remember one Christmas, he came home from France.
Okay.
And I think it was Expo, but I don't remember which one or something. But he came from France just before Christmas, and at the Charles de Gaulle airport, he bought mandarin oranges,
Ah, yes. Okay.
still with green leaves attached.
Oh, very
I've
neat.
never seen leaves attached to mandarin
Okay.
before.
And that's a staple pretty much all over the world for Christmas.
For us, that was only, yes, but for us, that was primarily
Right.
Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's just when they're in season, is at that time of year,
Okay.
which makes sense because I believe most of them are Chinese or Japanese mandarins. Hence the name.
So I successfully flunked biology 3 times in a row.
Okay, I'm not going to congratulate you for
I
that.
still struggle, despite my best efforts, to understand the agricultural makeup of life and
Okay.
the soil. So
Right.
I'll take your word for it that 'tis the season for mandarin oranges.
There you go. Well, Christmas is great no matter where you are. It should be a happy, fun-filled time of year. You get together with family, you celebrate.
Yes.
And you be grateful for everything that you have.
So when Christmas comes, happy Christmas.
Exactly. Happy Christmas. And Happy New Year, too.
Sports, sponsored by the Tint Doctor. We've got you covered.
We're counting down the days until Kindersley hosts the first ever combined men's and women's curling championships from January 21st to 26, 2025. This event will be held in the Interpipeline Event Center Arena. 9 men's and 9 women's teams will compete in a round-robin format. 4 draws will be held daily beginning at 8:30. The draws will be alternate between men's and women's games. See you there. Looking to watch some great hockey? Come out and watch the Kindersley Social Clippers. These little players sure can light it up on the ice. In fact, they pulled out a victory in their very first game of the season against Doddsland and have had a great time on the ice ever since. We'd also like to give a huge thank you to Bill's Trucking for sponsoring the team's clothing. Go team! Get ready to hit the ice. The Kerrobert Curling Club is excited to bring back Glow Curling for another year. It's a fun twist on the classic game and a great way to join in with friends, have some laughs, and show off your curling skills. As an added bonus, there will be no charge for 2024 curling dates and only a $5 drop-in fee for 2025 dates. So mark your calendars, grab your crew, and head to the rink for a glowing good time.
Hey, hi, how are you? Hi, Peter.
Hello, Kevin.
How was your day?
It was good, though I got a text today,
You did, okay.
and it said, "Why don't you two talk about politics?"
Ooh.
And I couldn't figure out whether it's a suggestion or a question. And I thought about it. Why don't we talk politics? And I arrived to a conclusion that by and large, you and I don't talk politics for the same reason you and I, Kevin and you, and everybody else in this universe doesn't really talk much politics, is because we still want to be friends.
Well, politics is a great divider, that's for sure. And I think sometimes we don't know what to believe from the politicians, no matter what level.
So, whenever that comes up, I remember that line from a movie with Sean Connery and a few other actors, Hunt for the Red October.
Yes, I remember that movie, yes.
And there is this line where a politician says, "I'm a politician," which means when I don't kiss babies, I steal their lollipops.
Interesting, okay.
I have lived in Canada 31 plus years. I have been in 3 provinces. I lived through several governments of various shapes. My political position, by and large, is cynical.
I think that would refer to probably 85% of people. I mean, when our own prime minister says something, do we believe him? When we see with the south of the border with President-elect Trump, do we believe him?
Yeah.
You know?
What gets to me the most is the political speech, the beating around the bush. Whether you're in government or whether you're in opposition or whether you're the government in waiting, everybody has, the more they say, the less they say.
That's true. And how many politicians can you think about that can talk for an hour and say nothing?
And we're not going to name names.
No, not at all. I would prefer that we didn't. Thank you.
I think when we talk politics, and you see that sentiment expressed on social media a lot, that we have lost the ability to talk. Why can't we sit down over a cup of coffee or a beer or scotch or a glass of milk and have a conversation? Who did you vote for and why? And simply have it by way of enriching each other about each other's lives. I'm not going to convince you. You're not going to convince me. It's not about, well, you can't think that. No, I'm just curious. Why?
And it's okay to disagree.
Absolutely.
And we can still be friends.
Yes, but I think when we look at, especially narrative on social media, how volatile people's conversations can become, I think we're downright afraid of it.
I would not argue that too hardly. I would not.
In a small way, it's like if I travel and I travel in proverbial civvies, so without a collar. And let's say I'm on the plane and we're having a good chat and a couple of swear words fly by and this and that. And inevitably, so what do you do for a living? So if I say I'm a clergyman, instantly you've got,
Oh, I'm sorry, Father.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh,
and I
that's
never
true.
know, are you sorry for what you've just said or are you sorry because I'm a clergyman?
Good distinction.
But it suddenly affects the conversation. And the same, you sit at the table and you never know if you say, well, I'm a conservative or I'm a liberal or I'm an NDP. And you don't know if it will be, well, that's interesting. Why? Or you must be off your rocker. Or awkward dead silence around the table and all you can hear is the sound of somebody trying to carve the turkey with plug-in electric knife.
Yeah, nobody knows what to say to them.
No.
And they're afraid to say something like you said.
Yes. And I think we've...
Afraid to start a fight?
We're afraid to start a fight. I think we don't trust each other enough anymore. We've become a society that's very closed, me, myself, on my own, and community only happens in very specific, defined moments. I think we're missing it.
That's interesting. I think it's probably time that we wrap this one up. So that's interesting. We'll cover this in part 2 later on, maybe next year.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we'll do that.
That would be interesting.
But again, we're going to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Happy New Year when it comes!
Hi everyone, be sure to grab a free copy of our bi-weekly print issue in over 50 locations across Kinnersley. Also included in our magazine is the free Kinnersley Social Extra, where we publish things like community events for nonprofits and obituaries for free. If you would like to be featured in our magazine or have something advertised, please email hello@kinnersleysocial.ca.